Good evening. I would like to welcome everybody here, regular school board meeting, Wednesday, March 19th. Call this meeting to order. First order of business is the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the roll reflect that all members are present. Was this meeting properly notified?
Yes, it's also being live streamed and recorded.
All right. Welcome to visitors. Is there any public comment? No. All right. So next we have the highlight on youth, and we have the FBLA Director Tracy Crowley and FBLA Coordinator Sammy Gibson and students.
Thank you. Welcome. I'm actually, contrary to normally when I talk in front of the board, I do all the talking. I'm gonna go take a back seat. I'm gonna let kind of our students kind of represent us today. So.
Hi, I'm Annabelle Worley. I'm serving currently as our Region 1 Vice President for Wisconsin FBLA.
I'm Phoenix Tros, and I am the next year VP for Region 1.
So whoever can do our PowerPoint, maybe do that. Sorry.
So these are some of our main focuses for FBLA. Currently we have 40 members. Membership is a big thing for us. In community service. Alzheimer's Association is our national organization. We raised and donated at our regionals $394.53. We wrote thank you notes to police, fire, first responders. Also, we were responsible for helping plan the community service day for the 9th and 10th graders. Leadership is also a big thing, obviously. We had students attend the Wisconsin Fall Leadership Lab in Stevens Point, and me and Mrs. Crowley hosted workshops at the conference for students. And in addition, I hosted a workshop at the middle school state level of FBLA. And then another big thing is career preparation. We had Dr. Ken Davenport as a keynote speaker at a regional conference, and Jaden Boyce, an FBLA alumni, led a conference about podcasting and broadcasting. We also attended some virtual business tours and obviously competed. At regionals, we had 575 students from different schools, from over 37 high schools from 9 different counties in Wisconsin compete. There's 68 different business-related competitions with objective tests, presentations, and role-play events. Students had to place first through third to advance to a state, and SCC received second place for outstanding chapter based on number of students who placed in the top 3. We had 23 state finalists, you can see up there. Some of them, I'm not going to read all of them. Me and Phoenix both placed in state. I got second, and so did Phoenix. So I competed in visual design with my partner, and we were asked to create a farmer's market booth for a business of our choice, and we could make our own. So me and my partner decided to make our own company called Be Bright Candles. This is the booth that we created to show the judges, and we had to highlight the product being sold. And as you can see in the background, it's kind of hard to see, but we had to make prices and different scents. So we made our own candles. We made the honeycomb display pieces. We painted and made ourselves. Yeah.
That's a technical error. Charlie's fault. I'm coming with your.
Well, this was going to be a video that me and my partner made. Our event was digital video, and we started this video in December, and we constantly changed different things about the video until we liked it. And we went around like our area to find different pictures, and we used all of our original content and used the software Adobe Premiere Pro that Crowley lend us, and yeah.
Her topic was they had to do every year our topics change. So whatever the competition is, their topics always change. And their topic was the importance of tourism in Wisconsin. So had different pictures that they went around where they included some. What were your 3 big points for tourism?
Culture, the natural beauty, and the economy.
And then Phoenix is going to be our next regional VP. I just want to talk a little bit about, I know we had someone there from the district to take pictures of our regional. But what it entails is we have to schedule all 575 students into rooms. We have to schedule, we have to make sure we have judges to do all of the events. So we have to make sure we have a minimum of 2 judges. We ask the community members to come in and help us with that. Luckily, my family loves me a whole lot, so I had a whole lot of people from across the state of Wisconsin to come in and help judge, but we did have a lot of our local parents volunteer to come in and judge. We actually arrange with our catering program so that we have lunches for all of our members that come in. We have to arrange workshops, so some of our students pre-compete, so they take an online test ahead of time, but we still want them to come on that day. So we have to arrange different workshops. We've reached out to our alumni really to help us host. So thank God we have a great FBLA alumni, Brianna Copenhagen, and Claire Palmer came back and they led a workshop on digital marketing. Jaden Boyce came in and did a podcasting and broadcasting. And then our local FFA chapter helped us run a screen printing workshop. So they kind of showed our new screen printing lab and showed how to do screen printing. And we had all of the students there screen print a t-shirt. That's where we got some of our donations for the Alzheimer's. So we donated $5 of every shirt that the kids had to buy for that workshop back to our Alzheimer's Association. And then Dr. Davenport has been one of our supporters since we've been hosting. I don't know if any of you realize, but we've hosted 6 out of the last 13 years. For FBLA, we've hosted our regional conference. I think people have faith that we've run a good conference, and they know we're a very supportive community. So they like to come to us, so they keep voting that we have good regional officers. But he comes back and he agreed to be our guest speaker for this year. So that was super exciting for us. Annabelle, really, I have to just give her props. I don't know, like last year we had an assembly when we sent, I don't know if you remember, but when we were sending our kids last year to state nationals, and we called Annabelle to the gym floor to be recognized as our VP. And she hid in the audience and would not come to the gym floor. And to see her now come up and lead to speak in front of 575 students and adults, I was super proud of her. I could not have hosted without her. I know Tammy would say the same thing. And then to see Phoenix is a first-year FBLA member this year. Her first kind of event I threw her in was regionals, and I said, hey, how would you like to run for regional officer? Because she was excited, and for her to step up without even knowing kind of the full scope of what she's going to be thrown into the next year was super exciting for me as an advisor. So just so you understand, like for Phoenix next year coming in, she will represent us at the National FBLA Conference in Anaheim this year. After that, we do some training over the summer. She will have to host workshops at 1 different leadership lab for sure. What else did you have to do this year? I can't even think of all the stuff we do.
We go to the state capitol to advocate for our CTSOs. So all 6 of us, like FFA, DECA, HOSA, we all got together with different, like from the different CTSOs with people like in our area. And we went to our representatives and kind of talked about the importance of CTSOs and why they should keep supporting us.
So just kind of a snapshot of what they do. And again, Sammy is a great help. It's a little harder for us to coordinate with her because she's at the middle school most of the day, so she doesn't get a chance to meet. But do you want to kind of talk at all or say anything about what we do?
I think you summed it up pretty well.
So we have our state, we go to state, we're bringing 23 of our students to state. We leave March 30th. Super excited. Our students have to place in the top 4 in the state to advance to our national competition. They'll each be competing against 21 kind of other students in their competitive events. Last year, we brought 4 to nationals, so we're hoping to kind of continue that success and hopefully grow it. It speaks, I just want to say, Chad kind of snuck out on me, but we couldn't host our event without the help of our school. Chad had him and another IT person there. We had janitors there to help us. Mitch with the auditorium. This is not a 2-man or 1-man show. We really have the support, and I thank Brian and everybody at the high school for graciously giving us their classrooms and the board for allowing us to host repeatedly. Because I know I'm out of the district a lot, and I know Annabelle was out also, and we'll continue that next year. But we just want to say thank you for all of your support as a school board for allowing us to do this. It's super exciting, and we're gonna make you proud.
Thank you.
And I apologize for the video.
When you had Sandy help you cater lunch, did she bring scones?
Actually, Courtney catered the lunches. So we had cinnamon rolls and pulled pork, and yeah, so it's great to see, like, we have our Panther Catering that does our catering. Our FFA was doing workshops and stuff. So we are definitely a pretty strong CTE team to support each other.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Good job.
Very
Keep up the
cool.
work.
Where you guys going?
I'll fix the link, so if you ever want to watch your video, I will fix the link. You guys can watch it.
You guys are gonna head out then?
Thank you.
See, wow.
Whoa.
All right. Moving on, comments by board members and superintendent. Any? All right. No scheduled presentations. So then we move on to the financial report.
All right. So as of February 28th of this year, Citizens State Bank checking has a balance of $2,198,000. Oh, sorry about that, $2,198,157.02. Money market is $12,288.60. Fund 46 is $59.71. Suicide prevention has a balance of $5,287.56. Referendum balance is $439,639.86 for a total balance of $2,655,432.75.
Move approval. Second.
Any discussion? This motion was by Jeff, second by Lamb. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the next up is consideration of consent agenda. Motion,
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
there's a motion. Dave second. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is administrative reports, student enrollment update.
Number of students and seats held pretty steady, 1,582. Bottom right-hand corner, you'll see that our virtual charter school, which are all our out-of-district students, open enrolled in our virtual school. The enrollment is at 304 students. And then up a little bit to the left of that is our in-district, our virtual full-time, 37 students, virtual part-time, 101 students there. Free and reduced lunch rate is still 23.58% district-wide. And then lastly, open enrollment numbers at the bottom matrix there, kind of bottom left. You'll see that we have 449 students open enrolled into our district, 128 out for a net of 321.
I sent a copy of that to Aiden, her oldest daughter. Her Chloe's in second grade, Minneapolis Public Schools, and he said 28 students. Kindergarten, first and second grade, 28 kids in each class with no aides in the classroom. Just crazy. Just crazy.
We're at 15 or 16.
Yeah,
make a
right.
huge difference.
No, you just think, and Minneapolis is trying to cut $75 million from their budget. So probably only gonna get worse.
All right, moving on to consider, or let's see, core agenda. And, oh,
Keyword.
sorry, yep. Keyword, Lance, we have one.
Yep. Abby Dilcher, thank you for being such a wonderful mentor and for helping to create a positive and enriching literature experience for everyone involved. We're so grateful for everything you've done.
Next up now is the core agenda, consideration of approval of Fund 46 capital improvement plan.
So we have Nick here tonight to help us out, but I'll kind of start us off that this is our, each year we have to go through our capital improvement plan and make adjustments to it as to how we would like to spend the 50 some dollars that we have in there. And so everything that's highlighted on the spreadsheet had a change. Most of them were just changes to the date. So for example, under the roofing schedule for the elementary, the art and music edition D, that did not get replaced. It was scheduled in 2024, so we bumped that up to 2025. So that's the majority of it. And then if you scroll down to page 3, I think. Yeah, where the whole block is highlighted there, that's a new addition, and that's what Nick is here to talk to us about. So we had a few different, there's some further down as well. Did you want to copy, Nick, or?
Sure.
So there's a handful of RTU units across the district that are at like end of life, just manufacturer wise. And so I'd like to start stuffing money in the coffers for replacement for those units.
How do you limp them along? Because we aren't gonna have $400,000 to replace them, so. How do you
Right.
cause them to limp along? I know we used to have to go to eBay to buy parts.
Yeah. So really it's more of the fear of like massive failure. Like a lot of these older units are tandem compressors. So if I lose, the cooling circuits are tied in together. So if I lose one compressor, the whole unit goes down. And then I'm doing most likely dual compressor replacement. And then there's a question of what type of gas is in it, Freon. And then we're looking at, we can't even replace that compressor given the Freon. So there's always Band-Aid fixes to do, but to have money in the bank and not get caught, frankly, with our pants down, and it's not just cost the unit. We got a good crane, we got to pick and swap them out. And then when you get to that point, we did dual compressor replacement on a unit this past year. And, you know, the question is also, you get into the building automation and the control side of things, where those controls are aged out 12 plus years. And at what point is it worth spending the money and doing a whole unit replacement where I do a whole new compressor system, cooling circuit, and then I'm bubblegum Band-Aid with the automation side of things that continue to fail, they're aged out. So to have money to be ready to do a full replacement is kind of my goal.
So Nick, you want to see at the bottom here,
Wasn't part of that part of the referendum though with the HVAC? Like,
it was, but wasn't, and yet none of it included any replacement of existing. Yeah.
So we were
So,
able to do a good amount of repairs that were identified during the referendum project. I want to say like 60 grand worth that we identified and got units repaired and up to speed.
in how many, like when you say high school, 100,000, is that one unit?
Depending on the size of the unit, yes, one of them could be $100,000.
And approximately how many units are at the high school right now, rooftop units total?
RTUs, 10, 12 maybe off the top of my head.
So, you know, the question, you know, probably we all have is, you know, ideally you in 2025, in order to have everything on this wish list, 2.5 million, which of course we don't have. And so what would be your top priorities? Would it be those rooftop units? Is that why?
No, my biggest issue that I see is, you've heard me say it a few times, is caulking and tuck pointing at the middle school. A lot of that is the overflow scuffer drains with rooftop drains over the years, and caulking and tuck pointing, if it's not lifespan of like 10, 12 years, if it's not addressed, then you get bigger issues, and it's water. You get water into the building, you get rust jacking on the windowsills, and then just snowballs and snowballs, even all the way down to like the skirt of the building, sidewalks. You get frost heave from all that stuff. The rub with caulking and tuck pointing is that no one will bring all their equipment out to do $5,000 worth of work.
Is it just the rooftop right now? That looks like it needs to be addressed, or do you see it in the window frames and all the way down at?
Yeah, it's the side of it's the exterior of the buildings. The rooftops are pretty good. I did get approval for warranty work from John Mansfield, the manufacturer, with Pioneer. So we will have some roof work done. It's already been approved. But it's really the exterior of the building, the caulking and tuck pointing.
I've been telling Nick about the front of the middle school especially could use, right? You've seen where the brick is alongside, that's bad. And just a little bit of a facelift with some pretty simple things like painting the blue tile, red tile, or, so that we understand like the middle school probably is a top priority for curb appeal, so to speak. But it's not just looks, it's also, like you said, functionality with this tuck pointing and caulking.
And what do you think that project is, cost?
To do the entire middle school,
Well, whatever you think needs to be done immediately.
the companies I've been talking to, it's about a $30,000 minimum to get them out to do, say we do like the north side of the building or the south side of the building to start this process. So that's kind of my goal, is to get money in that account so I can pull and get a good amount of work done whenever I can get it done, as opposed to trying to squeeze out $30,000, have the work completed before the end of fiscal year, and then I lose a RTU unit or something like that, and I'm behind the 8 ball when I've put this money towards caulking and tuck pointing. So that's kind of my goal with this.
What would be like a second priority?
Roof at the middle school, depending on how much I get through warranty with John Mansfield. We also have a good amount of caulking needing to be done at the high school, the auditorium specifically. Other than that, it's,
You're talking precast joints?
yeah. Other than that, it's little stuff like water heaters we put on there. And this is just, what I've come up with in the year that I've been here. But we have tons of water heaters throughout the building that are aged out. They're gonna go. So that's kind of low hanging fruit, picking the ones that are per the manufacturer at end of life and grabbing those and getting them replaced with whatever seems fit.
So let's say I always go to worst case scenario. One of these rooftop units goes down. Can we limp by, or I mean those heat hole wings?
It depends. I mean,
to me, it's like what's gonna keep kids from coming to school? Like that's the
Right.
worst case scenario. Like we can't have school because of X, Y, or Z.
right. There's a couple gyms that do not have redundancy with their RTU units. So like a gym, we could lose a gym space. But classrooms, I've had small issues before. And if it's a matter of shuffling classrooms around and finding a space, which the district has been fantastic for when things come up. But no, other than the boilers at the middle school, they're due for replacement and they're at capacity. Those cold snaps we had, they were running about 15, 20 degrees below set point of what we were trying to shoot for with the boiler loop. The building came up temperature like 7:30, 7:45 in the morning. Survivable, but it was good to see that it basically at its limit pinned. So we can't expand any hydronic heating at the middle school with the boilers being at end of life. That would be another like major failure. But then again, there's also redundancy. We have dual boilers, but both of those are running pinned on those cold snaps.
That's boilers, right?
Yep.
It's not, water heaters are separate. That's to heat hot
Correct.
water. Of course, obviously the kitchen would be one critical area, and we have fixed that before, I believe.
Yeah. We had one, that was dedicated to a dishwasher. I was able to use existing IBC boilers there was a thermostat mixing valve in line that fed our domestic water. So I could crank up those IBC boilers. I tapped into that line to give the dishwasher 135-degree water above our 120 set point to ease the usage on the booster heater, and still maintain a below 120-degree domestic water with a thermostatic mixing valve. So just deleted that one water heater.
All right, so with that said, we've talked about Fund 46 a long time. We joke about it and laugh about it, but we know at some point we gotta put money in it.
They're like $46 in there right now.
57.
Oh, collecting a lot of interest.
I know,
What's the rules with it? Whatever goes in has to be spent in that year.
No, that's the nice part about the Fund 46. So when we put the money in, it's considered spent in our budget, so we receive state aid on it, but we have however long to spend it. It could sit there for years if that was what happened. So
Do we have anything left in the referendum money, or can you?
Can't use
Can't
that.
use it.
right, Jen, it's all spent.
it's pretty close. So we're waiting for a few final invoices from Heartland. And Chad had one more project he needed to do for the band room, and Brooke Reiser still needs some equipment. So once that stuff comes through, then we'll figure out if there's anything else that would be available, but it's gonna be pretty close.
We're talking, like 10, 20, $30,000, right? Nothing big.
Right.
So with that said, again, there's one thing to say, we could use $60,000 because we gotta replace a rooftop unit, but there's that. And then if we do, you get the money somehow in there, and we get it done, this year. So I think of how much, and if so, timeline, what would we best use this money for that could be done in a timely manner. Typically, it's gonna be over the summer, right?
Mhm.
Any thoughts on that?
As far as
How much money and what project would be
caulking and tuck pointing would be my biggest project.
30 to 60,000?
I'd say 30 to start. Yeah.
So as we fund our reserve to keep our kind of bond rating in the target, every year we allocate some money to that. I think we better start budgeting to allocate 50 or 100,000 to this.
Yeah, and we had talked about that too, and with our budget being so tight for this year, we weren't sure if we were gonna be able to do that, so I think it will be close. But I know Nick also has been working on trying to save as much money as he can just within his budget to hopefully have a pot of money that can be put toward that.
Yeah, I just went over $60,000 today in my cost savings spreadsheet, and that's just what I've managed to sit down and document of things that normally hire out instead bringing in, or avoided costs. One would be a little thing would be like RPZ backup. We don't need those for our boiler loops in the high school and the elementary school. So removing those also helps us avoid annual inspection costs going forward. And then we talked about like the water heater, and the other one I did today was replacement of a EF motor, pulleys, wheels, and all that for the kitchen at the middle school, which probably would have been, I'd say, minimum $2,000 bill that we did for 400 in-house.
So, Jen, do you feel as if we'll have money this year? So let's say he wants to do tuck pointing, and can we put it in Fund 46? So, because that project is gonna happen over the summer, we don't have to have it done by July 1st then.
Correct,
If it goes in there,
right,
even though it goes in the last day of the calendar year, you
yeah.
would have all summer, have forever.
Forever to do the work, yeah. And we actually have by state statute until July 31st to put those funds in the account for the prior for the fiscal year. So we'll have till July 31st of 2025 to put it in for the 24-25 fiscal year. So we can, sort out all of our year-end stuff and make sure we have reserves for fund balance and other things that we need. Cause I know we also have that money from Mitten Roofing, and I'm thinking that middle school floor project is not gonna be complete by June 30. So we're gonna think about setting aside a portion of our fund balance to pay, for that and that type of thing as we get closer. So that gives us a little bit of wiggle room to be able to work through all those details too.
Tim, having heard all of this, in your mind, or should we be putting $100,000 a year in Fund 46, or?
It's possible, but I'd say a minimum of 50. And then, I mean, each year might be a little different, but, and if we can find more, and I think maintaining the fund balance is important, just to stay financially in a great shape. It saves taxpayers money and positions us well for future referendums, but this has to be funded. This is gonna catch up to us like the buses did. That one period of time. They keep kicking it down the road.
So, I mean, just philosophically, money that we had budgeted for his stuff, and he saved us money. Now, I don't want him to over budget, so he has reserves, but we ought not spend that someplace else. It ought to go to the buildings.
Right.
And this would be a good place to put it. And I would say on top of the 50 that we try to budget.
And one could say, let's just increase his budget because there's this gonna get these stuff done. But if it doesn't get done, the nice thing about that is you can carry it over from year to year. That's an advantage.
But I think as we budget for next school year, we should make sure that this is part of it. The pressure will be add a teacher. I mean, it's always our people over things.
We're really sitting pretty good now.
Pretty good shape.
Two on the wish list.
So I think it's a really helpful information to have.
So we need a motion.
Approve this plan.
Okay.
Yep.
So it would just be a motion to.
You have to
approve
make the whole
Fund
block.
46.
You have to state exactly what you're gonna budget.
Well, need to approve this plan, but I think maybe, the board could make a separate motion to fund it if you wanted, right? I mean, I don't know, if the budget dependent,
No, I
want to put a number on it.
I wouldn't do that tonight, but this, we have to, Fund 46 requires that we have a plan. This is our amended plan that's flexible.
Yeah.
So we really need to approve this.
So we need a motion.
I'll make a motion. Approve the improvement plan.
Second.
All right, so Dave made the motion, Brad second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is consideration of approval of the 25-26 shared.
Thank you.
Oh, yep, thank you. Nick. The shared services contract.
Did we just approve that? Everything, all those.
No,
Plan.
just that the plan.
It's
The
just-
plan.
We like the
The
plan.
plan, not the money that goes with the plan.
Just to spend 11 million.
It's a wish. Thank you very much.
Dream.
Fun is a dream. Caught you off guard.
We have to have the plan, so if we do have money, we can spend the money.
Just like those buses we approved.
Stretch that $50 million.
Dave's Diet Coke.
Why? I was like, everybody's approving. I was sitting back. What the hell is going on here?
Really
Solid individual.
11 and a half.
Oh, yeah, not.
So I can kind of go through the costing summary, and then don't know if Tim, if you want to explain, because I know we decided not to renew a couple of the items on the list. Maybe you can talk about that.
Sure.
So the required services are the CISA administration, the cooperative bidding, and the delivery service. We have to subscribe to those. So they ranged between a 3% and 4% increase for the year. I think, can we scroll up so, or maybe the other direction?
If you go back to the agenda.
Oh, I see. You want the other report.
Yeah.
Got it.
So overall, those 3 items are a 4% increase in the blue section there. And then when we go down to the instructional support, we're renewing everything except the district level consulting and the science, math, and technology resource center. So Tim
Not
can,
use the consulting.
Correct. And like we looked at this next year, we don't think we're gonna need any days. The beauty of it is we can always add and do an amendment and buy a day.
and I think the science just weren't using as. kind of what
Yeah,
these
and,
are.
yep, and that, 1 year we didn't renew it, and then the next year, like, oh, we needed a couple things, and then, we're like, well, we're better off just to pay the fee and go. There's some things you can't get, like the Star Lab, that Pat Hook had used or whatever, but, we talked to him, said he could do without it, especially for $5,000.
So, and then again, the other, CTE library, healthy, safe and respectful schools, those are running about a 4% increase from the prior year. And then we did renew the Title I and Title II administration. They help us with all the paperwork on the federal side, for those 2 grants that we received from the federal government. And then Title III is a little bit different where it's a consortium. So we basically receive, it's usually around $1,000 or $1,500, and then we have to sign it back over to CISA, and they pool all of the district's funds together and then do professional development and different things with that money. So we'll do that again. Special education services, of course, we have our audiology services, and then our school-based services, vision impaired teacher, and then the supporting students with disabilities network, which I believe provides a lot of resources for the special ed department. So we will be renewing all of those. And then we will also be renewing our E-rate services. So Chad and I work with CISA a lot with the E-rate stuff. And again, that's all federal regulations and stuff like that they're assisting us with. So overall, we're actually going to see a decrease because of not renewing those couple things. So about $5,000 less than what we're paying out this year.
We just district level consulting. We just did 1 day last year, and dropped the Tech, which I just talked about with mainly the Star Lab and things like that. I think that was it. Yeah, the rest we renewed, and then we would need a signature on that. We need to get that to them by end of March. Perfect.
Approval of the shared services with CISA.
Jeff made a motion, Dave second. Any more discussion? All right, all in favor?
Right.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is consideration of approval of Trafera lease agreement.
So Chad came to me a few weeks ago and, because we purchase a large amount of Chromebooks every year for our one-on-one, just concerned about the cost of those products increasing with the tariffs and stuff that are being put in place. So he had reached out to Trafera to said, what are some options that we might have where we could have like an agreement to purchase them early for a set price. And then we would receive them actually after July 1st and pay for them after July 1st. So they said that we would need to do a lease agreement for that. So we have our original lease agreement that covered all of our devices that we worked on about 2 years ago. And so this is an amendment to that lease, being the lease schedule 002. And so we would be adding an additional 300 Chromebooks for it talks about the term of the lease being 39 months and all of that, but we've told them that we want to be billed all at once. So if you go down under equipment, it would be like the 4th paragraph there. It talks about how we can pay for it all at once for $96,300. So basically, we'll receive the Chromebooks on July 1st and we'll pay for the Chromebooks on July 1st. But this is a way to lock in the pricing so that we can get that for a lower rate.
So we're thinking it'd be 20% higher if we waited.
I'm
Ish.
thinking, yeah, I mean, of course, you don't know for sure,
Right.
but I'm sure it will not be less.
Right.
Yeah, just because of all the products that are used in the Chromebooks.
That price also includes the software license for, I believe, is it 5 years?
Yeah,
Basically the life.
I don't know. I
life-
think it might be 4.
Okay, and the warranty, all the warranty, so we get a lot of warranty work, as you can imagine, with kids in their homes.
Yeah, and Chad has talked very highly of this company. You know, we've been with them for 2 years now, and they deal with all of the, you know, we can deal with like the basic stuff, but we just don't have enough IT techs to be able to deal with everything. So they actually come and pick up the Chromebooks once they have, you know, 25 of them or whatever that need repair, and they take them back to the shop and they fix them, and then they bring them back when they're done. And it sounds like it's been working out really well for them.
Make a motion to approve the lease amendment.
Dave made the motion, Brad second. Is there any more discussion? All right, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. We do have a consideration of approval of a second reading, and the rest of them are first, so we don't need to vote on that, but we do need a motion.
Yeah, nothing's changed since last month with policy 361.2 library material selection.
Core agenda item D.
Second.
So Lance made the motion, Jeff second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed? All right, motion carries. And then that consideration of first readings E through O.
So FYI, as you know, we got through all of them, right? But the first, 100s, 200s, and through 348-ish were ones that we just, Pam and I had done before we were subscribed to the policy resource guide. So we started over from the beginning, and the first step, Callie is going through and adding all ones that we currently don't have that the policy resource guide does have. So these are templated, they're vetted, obviously. So we thought we'd start with that and just add ones that they have in PRG that we do not. So that's what these are. And Kelly thought there's about 48 of them. So about the next 4 months, then we'll do about 10 or so per month to get through adding ones we don't have. And then after that, we'll go right back to policy 110 and vet them all through PRG and legal till we get up to 348. Then they'll all be vetted, and then we'll start our annual 5-year rotation, probably fallish, middle of next year. And
I have
then
a
it'll be a
question on
nice
these.
5-year rotation.
I was looking at this, well, there was one at home that I looked at home, and it was about the admin being able to not basically
I think it was G.
not be able to tell you or give a consideration to a board member for a potential hire. I gotta find it. I'll find it. It can't be that hard. Yeah, recruit, here it is. It's all.
Oh,
Okay, if you scroll down a little ways, the administration shall not recommend an internal or external candidate to the board to fill a position covered by this policy unless this individual assigned to conduct background checks is. So as I was reading through that at home, like, why wouldn't we want to take the advice of an admin staff, somebody that would be a potential peer of theirs? Am I reading that wrong?
Potential peer of theirs.
Okay, you have to do the background. You can't hire them without doing a background.
Shall not
check.
recommend them, okay, unless the individual has verified the candidates.
So once he does the background check.
So they're just saying,
then-
Oh, then they can,
Then we.
You just gotta say they gotta do a background check, gotta, review all their background, not just a criminal background check, but
Yeah.
their
Until that's done, they can't recommend.
I was like, I can, how could that, could that be against policy? That's.
Yeah, and I think like some of these, I wanna say one of these included, like, it required that a board member be on the hiring committee.
Yes.
Right, so we haven't typically done that. So like some of those we would look at, and say, oh, that doesn't fit what we do. And we changed it, but otherwise, it's nothing that would have changed it legally. It's just procedurally. Some of these, I guess. I think this was maybe one of them. I believe this is the one that said requiring a board member to sit on the interviews unless you want to.
Why would we do that?
You do for the
That's not,
superintendent.
our helicopter doesn't fly that.
No action needed to be taken.
Yep.
Okay, so then we move on to future agenda item. Does anybody have anything? Hearing none, then we have the important upcoming dates. So we've got April 3rd and Kelly needs commitment, so because sign up is coming soon.
Yeah, the deadline is Monday, so if you.
I'll be there.
I'm out. I'll be in Spokane, Washington.
You coming?
Yeah. Anybody
It's the
else?
third.
It's a third.
Oh, let me just check.
I'll go
April
to.
third is a Thursday.
Okay.
Better make sure I don't always.
Assuming I'm
We're
real
gonna be in
lucky.
Wisconsin Dells at the Inspired Leadership Conference.
Before that.
Oh, actually, no, you're still.
Oh, yeah, I'll still.
Hey, still gonna follow that much.
Yeah,
Shoot straight there.
Yeah, then you can't mingle that.
And I'm for Joe Finn. Market school guy.
All right, so it's Jeff, me, Dave, anybody else?
You remember who bring me in for a speaker?
Joe Sanfilippo, the former Fall Creek superintendent. He was big on marketing and he was on social media. Gold crickets kind of pound sign and. Huh? No, we can't say that loud. Yeah, and then he actually retired early to do this kind of stuff, like keynote speaking.
All right, so then we've got April 16th, the next regular school board meeting here at 7:00. And April 27th is our board development meeting at 5 at the district office. Has everybody got that on their calendar? Does it work for everybody?
I think I'll be in Las Vegas.
I'll be out the 16th.
But, okay, so 16th is the regular board meeting. So Jeff's out that night. Is anybody else knowing that they'll be out on the 16th? So then if we're looking at the 27th, which is a Sunday evening, Derek, you're in Vegas.
Edith's wrestling.
That's so cool. All right, so, and it's just us. It's not the admin, so then we should.
Do it. Just keep it.
You aren't getting off the hook that easy.
Zoom in.
Yeah, I'd love to.
No slow virtually though.
Yeah, we're gonna just eat scones the whole
Is Sandy
time.
coming?
Yep, now she is.
Doubt it. Is that some more on contract for the year or is it just?
No, he bills us per, yeah. Plans on 4 per year.
Think about it.
Because then it's Mother's Day and graduation and.
Oh, what?
Well, I think I was called the mother hen, so, and I did give that out, that reminder today for you.
I appreciate it.
I actually thought of that when I saw the reminder.
Yes.
The mother hen usually reminds me.
I was gonna put a hen behind there.
A little.
That's
Let's
awesome.
be real, it's helpful.
Oh, yeah,
It's helpful.
absolutely.
I don't think we can do it without Jared there.
I think you
Could we
bring
move
it.
to May 4th?
May 4th, I will be gone.
There's a
Fishing
Packer
over.
thing.
For Brad. We could do it Easter Sunday.
Yeah, good idea. And then,
Move it up. We don't have any point in that. Yeah, I think we.
yeah,
In different times, it was important that everyone was there.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
okay.
There you go, you're off the hook.
I mean,
We get a lot more done though without social butterfly there.
We might get done early.
It's much fun though.
No, it won't be.
All right, so we'll confirm with Lee just to make sure that he does have it.
Okay.
Okay, so I think that is it for regular session. And so now we need a motion to go into closed session.
motion to convene to close session, A, period, per Wisconsin statute 19.851C, considering employment promotion compensation, performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. 1, approval of resignations, retirements, and terminations. 2, approval of appointments and contract modifications.
Did you get the updated one?
No.
It's up there on the screen.
Oh. Discuss seeking legal counsel to investigate employment matter, discuss complaint against employee.
All right, so we've got a motion. Would like to do the second.
Second.
Lance? All right, roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, time is 8:52.
Period.
Well, no, everything.
Greg.